G'day, I got a package here from Amazon. The listing for this item on Amazon was called 70 kilometers per hour radio control. It was very cheap, around $120 I think, Australian. That's pretty bargain basement. It's brushless and it claims to be able to do a top speed of 70 kilometers an hour. It also says in the ad that it's a hobby grade chassis. It's a 1/16 scale, so it's going to be pretty small. I'm going to put it to the test. Alright, there it is. It's a Suchi RC model, all-terrain four-wheel drive, and it's called a sweep. Now, interestingly, although the ad said 70 kilometers an hour, I can't see anywhere on this box where they're actually claiming the same top speed. But here we can see that it's got a brushless motor. It's running on 7.4 volts. Got a metal transmission, metal drive shafts, ball bearings, metal differentials, and it's got, look at this, racing tail parts. Interesting. I wonder what a racing tail part is. Anyway, what's in the box? All this came pretty tightly packed into that box. I have got a bag of spare parts here and some tools. It's a pretty nice looking little model. I like the colour. Pink's my favourite colour. Look at this, it's got Pro written on the top. It must be good. And we got a spare battery here. So there's two batteries in the pack. One already fitted. It does have this aluminium stiffener going right down the centre of the chassis too. Very, very soft suspension. Extremely soft. I don't know. From first look, appears pretty reasonably built. It's got aluminium here at the front and rear suspension and to tie those swing arm pins in. From the first look, it looks like they've tried to build this thing pretty solid and pretty tough. I'm kind of looking at more than I expected. Spare body pins, shims for the suspension, a wheelie bar, and a spoiler, plus a screwdriver. Let's see how good this little screwdriver is they gave us. Certainly not snap-on. It is doing the job. I've undone 4 screws and done up 6, and this screwdriver totally done. Look at that, it's got headlights as well. Trying to give me an epileptic fit at the moment. The remote control, powered by 3 AA batteries, which is the only thing that haven't come in this kit. The telemetry data that I collected for this was so far out of sync, and I had trouble getting it to synchronize, so I can't use the overlay to show you, but the top speed achieved by this car was 20 miles an hour. After the first crash, one of the front body pins is gone and one of them is bent. Knowing that it was fun enough to drive, it was time to start smashing this car into trees and seeing how it survived that treatment. And the results were quite pleasing, with the car standing up to all of that abuse and then continuing to drive off. One really interesting feature on this model is this high, medium and low switch here, which basically gives the user 3 different throttle settings. You could put it on low there, give this to your most incompetent driver of a friend. They should be able to drive this without doing too much damage. And then when you want to have a bit more fun, you can wind it back up to high. That's a pretty cool feature to have on a remote control. One of the things I do find pretty pleasing about this model is the fact that it came with spare parts, but mainly it came with a spare battery, which is an acknowledgement that you might not get the longest drive time out of this, but if you take 2 charged up batteries with you, you should get a good amount of fun. In terms of whether this was worth the $120 or not, did it do 70 kilometers an hour like they said it would in the advertisement? I don't think it's doing it under its own power. Is it fun? Is it something that you could give your kids to bash and crash? Absolutely. Everything was working right up until the point that tie rod end screw did fall out. So if you're looking for a cheap way to get into RC cars and have a lot of fun, I think this thing for $120 or whatever it was, I think it represented good value.